Hello friends, this is Dr. Ghanashyam Chavan. Welcome in the session of Human Anatomy and Physiology 2. In last semester we have discussed regarding the HAP 1, and from today's onward, means from today is the first day of our lecture semester 2. So we are going to discuss Human Anatomy and Physiology 2. So in this, students, we are going to discuss very interesting topic, that is nervous system. And here I would like to tell you that we are discussing all the body parts, so you should develop interest in that. So whenever we are discussing any topic, try to recall that after blinking your eyes. What is the location of that part? What is its function? What is important here? Their location and function. Now here if you will see, nervous system, it can be divided into two parts: central nervous system, which governs brain, spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system. Other than central nervous system, all over body you will find peripheral nervous system. Everywhere you will find nerves, nerve cells. So these nerve cells are responsible for carrying the impulses from one place to the another place, from the tip of your finger to your brain, and from the brain to your kidney, from brain to your toes, to your skin, your neck, every part. So the correlation occurs in between your body parts, and their sensation occurs. If you are feeling hot, that hot sensation occurs only due to this nervous system. Nervous system plays an important role for the sensation and their innervation. Whatever order you are giving to your organs are working according to our brain. Brain is nothing but the central processing unit of your body. So they are giving order to your all the body parts. So here we will discuss the various functions of this nervous system. In that, first function is sensory. It gathers information about changes occurring within the around the body. Sensory receptor at end of periphery nerves send signals to the CNS. In simple ways, what is sensory information? It's whatever any sort of pin touches to your finger, so that is the sense. So that if that sense reaches to your brain, it is called sensory function. Suppose if your leg touches to any hot condition or any hot thing, or if suppose if you are touching to the ice, so that ice touching sensation, very in winter season also we are having feeling of we are having cool sensation, so that cool sensation carries from your hand to your brain. So it is nothing but the sensory information, sensory function. So for example, light, if anyone have blown the torch on your eyes, immediately what will be your response? You will blink your eyes. What is that? It is sensory information, that due to that light you are blinking your eyes. After that, oxygen levels, body temperature. So these all are nothing but the sensory information. Integrative information is brought together, interpret to create sensation, create thoughts, and add to memory, make decision. Means suppose if you are watching any movies, you are recording that into your brain, you are understanding that. If English language is going on, you are understanding that, you are interpreting that in your own language to develop into the thoughts. If somebody is telling you something, so you are hearing that, you are interpreting that into your thoughts, and you are giving the answers. So it is called integrative, for understanding, for communicating, for interpreting the things which are happening in front of you. Motor, sending the signals to the muscle or glands to elicit the response. Motor is nothing but the vice versa of sensory response. Suppose if somebody is going to slap you on your face, so what your response? Your response, you will stop his slap. you will pick his hand, means you are obstructing for slapping. So that response, that process is nothing but the motor function. Whatever the brain is giving order to stop his hand, it is motor function. Suppose if you are facing a cold sensation, if you are touching to ice, so immediately you are removing your finger, you are removing your hand from that place. So that removing sensation, that removing action, response is nothing but the motor function. So the brain is giving order to your hand, brain is giving order to your leg, your skin, to your eyes, to blinking your eyes. So that response of torch, blinking of eyes is nothing but the motor response. Secretion of any gland, secretion of HCl, secretion of any sort of enzymes or hormones, it is nothing but the motor function. Bottom line, maintenance of homeostasis. Organs of the nervous system can be divided into two groups. One is central nervous system, is composed of brain. As we know, brain are containing almost more than 1 billion neuron. You cannot imagine 1 billion neuron, and this spinal cord containing more than 100 million neuron. So that much bunch of neuron only this brain and your spinal cord contains. That's why it is called CNS, central nervous system. It is a central processing unit of our body which governs your whole body. So they are composed of brain and spinal cord, and these neurons cannot regenerate if damaged, whereas in case of PNS they can regenerate. And another system is peripheral nervous system. It is made up of peripheral nerves that connects CNS to rest of the body. These neurons can regenerate if damaged, their axons can be regenerates. So here from this spinal cord all over the body parts, the neurons has been reached, and it has been reached along with this peripheral nervous system. All over the organs, all over the arms, your skin, everywhere you will find this peripheral nervous system. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Here you can see the spinal nerves which go through this spinal cord, which coming from this spinal, emerging from this spinal cord. And there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves which are coming from brain. Now peripheral nervous system, here you can see PNS can be divided into two divisions. One is autonomic nervous system and another is somatic nervous system. So in autonomic nervous system, the cranial spinal nerves connecting CNS to heart, stomach, intestine, glands, and they are increasing or decreasing their functions according to the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. They are organizing, they are correlating both the systems, and they are increasing and decreasing their secretions. Whereas the peripheral nervous system, somatic nervous system, the cranial and spinal nerves connecting CNS to the skin and skeletal muscles, and they are responsible for functioning, to do the contraction of our hand, to the relaxation of leg, to walk, do walking, to stand on your legs, to hold anything, to pick in your hand. So for the multiple functions we require this somatic nervous system, and in that there is involvement of synapse. This synaptic vesicle is there which contains the neurotransmitters which release here, and it also contains the axons of motor junctions, neuromuscular junctions. Here you can see organizations of nervous system. Nervous system, it can be divided into two parts. One is central nervous system which connects brain and spinal cord to all over the peripheral nervous system, and peripheral nervous system is also having two parts. One is autonomous nervous system and second is somatic nervous system. In autonomous nervous system again there are two parts. One is sympathetic nervous system. There are two units. One is sympathetic nervous system and another is parasympathetic nervous system. So in the parasympathetic division, it decreases heart rate, bronchial dilation, blood glucose, blood to the skeletal muscles, it increases digestion. Digestion rate it increases because it also increases the secretion of HCl, increases secretion of various enzymes, proteolytic enzymes from the pancreas. It increases the enzymes from the liver. It increases the enzyme from the gallbladder, for example bile juice. The pupil size can be increased, urinary output can be increased, and the final rest and digest response. Whereas in case of sympathetic division, decreases digestion, pupil size can be decreased, urinary output can be decreased, increase heart rate, bronchial dilation, blood glucose can be increased, blood to the skeletal muscle can be increased, means you are ready to do any work, any hard work. So that's why our body is ready for flight and fight response. So this response to do anything very exaggerately, very passionately, you will become passionate for any work, to anything. So that response is nothing but the fight and flight response. Now here there are two divisions. Here is parasympathetic and here is the sympathetic division. So combinedly, so this parasympathetic division, which starts from this second vertebra of thoracic up to the lumbar vertebra, second lumbar vertebra. Whereas this parasympathetic nervous system, which occurs from these four cranial nerves and to this coccyx nerve, which came from the coccyx part, and they are organizing the various secretions. One part, so for example here to the intestine, to the stomach, the parasympathetic level, it will increase the secretion of HCl, secretion of various enzymes, whereas here they will decrease the secretion of HCl. They will inhibit the peristaltic movement and secretion. They will slow down the digestion. Now here in the heart, they will slow down the heartbeats. They will decrease the heart rate. Whereas in sympathetic, they will increase the heart rate, increase the force of contraction of heart. Now again here in case of sympathetic, inhibits the slow flow of saliva, whereas they will increase the salivation. Likewise in parasympathetic, the pupil size can be decreased, constricted, and here the dilation of pupil will occur in case of sympathetic. Likewise in all over the organs, they will show their effects. Now again if you see the distribution of nervous system in two parts, central nervous system, peripheral. In central, brain and spinal cord receive sensory input via PNS sensory nerves, process, interprets sensory input, sends response to the effectors via motor nerves. In case of peripheral nervous system, cranial and spinal nerves extending from brain and spinal cord, it connects CNS to the entire body. Again in PNS there are two parts, autonomous and somatic. As in somatic, cranial and spinal nerves connect to the CNS to the skin and skeletal muscles and oversees conscious activities. It is responsible to do walking, running, to hold anything. To your various skeletal muscles, they are involved into this somatic nervous system. Whereas in autonomic nervous system, which is not under our control, it is automatic. That's why it is called autonomic. So cranial and spinal nerves connecting CNS to heart, stomach, intestine, glands, control unconscious activities, means which are not under our control. Sympathetic and parasympathetic, here we already discussed all these things. Now we will move to the next important thing. It is called nervous system. It is composed of two major cells. One is neuron and neuroglial cell. It is also called as glial cells. So neurons, and this neuron contains the nerve cell. So the nerve cell which connects to the cell body. So it is having various components. Three main components are there in neurons. One is cell body, axon, and end terminals. Here you can see it is composed of three parts. One is cell body, dendrites, and axons. So what is dendrites? Dendrites are the anterior part of our neuron, which receives the impulses from another neuron, which take down the impulses and it carry forward that impulses through the cell body and through the axon. This is the nerve cell, and axons send the information. Now these axons will deliver that information in the form of electrical impulses to the next neuron. Axon is nothing but it is carry out the electrical impulses in the form of messages, chemical messages to the electrical messages, and they are delivering to the next neuron, and it can be occurred with the help of myelin sheath. So the myelin sheath wrapped over the axons. The axons are of two types. One is myelinated axons and another is unmyelinated axons. In white matter you will find myelinated axons. So myelination occurs, myelination develops due to the Schwann cells. These Schwann cells are wrapped over the axons, and due to which they are producing the protective covering over these axons, and this protective covering is responsible for firing of electrical impulses and their speed, as we are seeing in the electrical wire. So at the inner part copper wire is there, and along that copper wire insulation of plastic or insulation of any insulator is there. So acrylic or plastic, any type of fiber is there which is covered, protective cover over the wire. So what is its role? To protect the impulses. It is not allow loss of impulses, and that's why the impulses are going to be governed and reserved, and due to which they are increasing the speed of impulses. So they are having 3 points. It appears as a multiple lipid protein layers are actually a continuous cell, and they increase the speed of action potential conduction. Now dendrites and cell bodies. So dendrites receive the stimuli and carry it to the cell body. So they are multiple in numbers. Dendrites are multiple in numbers, and they can attach to the various number of neurons, and they can accept the impulses from various sides. Cell body is the internal part, and they are containing the three major part. They are having mitochondria, they are having nucleus which is enclosed in the cytoplasm, and they are also having the lysosomes. So these three elements are there, and in between this again they are having various cell organelles. For example, they are having the ribosomes for protein synthesis. They are also containing the endoplasmic reticulum, and that endoplasmic reticulum is having specialized name. It is called Nissl bodies. These Nissl bodies are also involved into the protein synthesis. So they are the macrofilaments, Nissl bodies. They are responsible for protein synthesis. Now this is the cell body that you can see here, and they are also having the axonal hillock. These are the dendrites. Dendrites are irregular in shape. This is the nucleus, at the center nucleus, which is surrounded by the cytoplasm, and at the center there is nucleolus. And at this axonal hillock, what is axonal hillock? It is the end part of cell body from which the axon is going to be emerged, which come out from this body. It will proceed further. That typical part, that in between part, is called as axonal hillock. That elongated, that cone shaped part is called as axonal hillock. And that at the axonal hillock we will find these neurofibrils. These neurofibrils are nothing but the microfilaments. That filaments are responsible for collecting the impulses and movement of this cell body, and also growth. They record also for their growth. There are various parts. We should know their location and their function. In the parts of neuron, the question can be asked for 10 marks or 5 marks also. But nowadays the online exam is going on, so you should know at least their name and their functions. So here the microtubule. So microtubule are nothing but they are responsible for movement, and they are giving the shape and strength to the neuronal cells, and they are also formed from the filaments, a bunch of filaments. Lipofuscin is the typical pigment which is specially gives color to your neuron and their cytoplasm, and this is the only responsible for their typical color, lipofuscin. Axon is nothing but it is a part of nerve fiber which is the extended part of our cell body, and which carries the impulses. We propagate the impulses from the cell body towards the next nerve cell. The main function of axon is to carrying the impulse which produce from the nerve, and which carries that impulses, propagate impulses from one nerve to the another nerve. It increases their speed. They transfer the impulses in the form of electrical energy. Axon hillock, that is the neck portion between the cell body and the axon. That portion is called as axon hillock. Exoplasm is nothing but the cytoplasm of axon. The cytoplasm which is available into your axon, and that exoplasm is also responsible for regeneration of axon, where regeneration, formation of axon occurs. Especially this occurs in peripheral nervous system. Axolemma, this axolemma is nothing but the plasma occurs in your axon. It is called axolemma. And axon terminals, this is very important. It is the end portion of your axon. End bulbs are there, so they are also called as telodendria, and these end bulbs contains the seminal vesicles which is embedded into the neurotransmitters. So that's why these axon terminals are having great role into the transmission of impulses. Impulses are transmitted in the form of chemicals. What are chemicals? Neurotransmitters. Where are the neurotransmitters? Neurotransmitters are collected in the form of seminal vesicles, round sacked seminal vesicles. They will found into this. This is the end portion. They will found into this axon terminals, and from that they will carrying the impulses from one neuron to the another neuron. So the information is given to the another neuron. Now nodes of Ranvier. It is the gap between the two Schwann cells, and where the impulses jump from node to the node and saltatory conduction occurs. So here, this is the nodes of Ranvier. So this is the Schwann cell. It is a gap between the two Schwann cells. So here there is positive ions is there, and at the inside there is negative ions. So due to which they are responsible for to do this ionic conversions. So they are forming the electrical energy, and in this fashion they are carrying the impulses. So these nodes of Ranvier are helping to carrying the impulses. They are precipitating its speed. Now nerves are cable-like bundles of axons. The neurological provide physical support, insulation, myelin and nutrients for neurons. So here we are going to discuss the glia or neuroglial cells. So they are more than 5 to 25 in numerous as compared with the nerve cell. Means if suppose we are having one nerve cell, so to one nerve there is 5 to 20 glial cells are there, neuroglial cells are there. They are more in numbers. Suppose if you are having 10 nerve cell, so we may have 50 or 100 or 200 nerve cells. So they are more in numbers, they are smaller in size as compared with the nerve cell, but they are not involved into the propagation of nerve impulses. They are not involved into the impulse generation and impulse conduction, but they are helping, but they are not actually involved. They are not having active role into the impulse conduction as well as impulse generation. What they are doing, they are only increasing the numbers, they are increasing the bulk. Whenever if any nerve cell is going to be damaged, so they are filling the gap of that nerve cell. They are increasing, and they can increase their numbers, so they are filling the gap in between the damaged nerve cells, if in damaged nerve cells is there. So here we are having 6 type of neuroglia or glial cells are available in our brain. Out of them 4 are occurs in our central nervous system, in CNS, whereas 2 are occurs in our parasympathetic nervous system, means PNS. 4 are in CNS, 2 are in PNS. Now here, out of that 4, we are having various names. For example, first name is, it is called astrocytes. It is star shaped astrocytes. These astrocytes are of 2 types, protoplasmic astrocytes and the fibroblastic astrocytes. These protoplasmic astrocytes will found into the white matter, whereas these fibroblastic astrocytes will find in gray matter, and they are responsible for growth, they are responsible for movement in the childhood. So they are more in numbers, they are also larger in size, and they are also responsible for transfer from one place to the another place. Now second type of the glial cell which occurs in central nervous system, it is called microglial cell. They are smaller as compared with the astrocytes, and they are having major function of immunity, they are a major function of phagocytosis. So they are nothing but the sanitary workers in our brain. Whenever if there any nerve cell, if any death nerve cell is there, so it will decrease the debris, they will worn out that cells, they will kill that cells. If any unnecessary or unwanted glial cell is there or death cells are there, so they will decrease their numbers. If any unwanted or foreign matter material is there, so they will kill that pathogen, they will kill that bacteria or viruses as well. So their major function is to do the phagocytosis, these microglial cells. After that, next is oligodendrocytes. What is the role of these oligodendrocytes? Oligodendrocytes are responsible for myelination. They are the cells which are doing the myelination into the central nervous system. In central nervous system, the axons myelination occurs only due to these oligodendrocytes, whereas in PNS it occurs due to the Schwann cell. Don't get confused, it is very simple. In central nervous system, oligodendrocytes are responsible for myelination, to do the myelination, and in case of peripheral nervous system, the Schwann cells are responsible for myelination. Here these oligodendrocytes are able to do the myelination of more than 2 cells, more than 1 or 2 cells, means multiple myelination these oligodendrocytes can do. But whereas Schwann cell can do the myelination of a single nerve, only a single axon, but it can do, but that Schwann cell from the parasympathetic nervous system can do the myelination of one single axon, but if it contains the multiple axon encircled, so it can do that more than 5 to 20 encircled axons can be done by this Schwann cell. Now the fourth is epidermal cell. This epidermal cell are specially responsible for formation of ventricles in brain as well as in our spinal cord, and these ventricles are made up of this cerebrospinal fluid. So that's why the major function of this epidermal cell is to do the protection of our brain. Whatever shock is there, if any brain injury, if you are fall down from the accident, due to the accident from to the floor, so this is the only cell, epidermal cell, which is responsible for absorbing the shock and which protects our brain. And it also forms the cerebrospinal fluid blood barrier. It is also called as blood brain barrier. So it produces the barrier between the blood and cerebrospinal fluid. So this is the epidermal cell, and at the childhood it is responsible for growth and also for the protection. So these are the four glial cells which are available in our CNS, central nervous system. And in PNS there are two. One we already discussed, Schwann cell. That Schwann cell is responsible for myelination purpose only, and it is increases the impulses, firing of impulses, impulse propagation can be done by this Schwann cell. And another last is satellite cell. The satellite cell are flat cells. They are also responsible for movement. So these all are 6 types of glial cells. And what is glioma? Glioma is nothing but the cancer or tumor of glial cells. Glioma or glioma, Gliaoma, glioma. So neuroglia are responsible for this cancer of glial cells, whereas brain tumor, the brain cells, the nerve cells are responsible for brain tumor. Now here classification of neurons. There are various types of neurons that we should know here. Neurons can be classified based on the functions or by structure. By structure, multipolar means maximum number of neurons are having multipoles, means they are having multiple sites of dendrites, means they are receiving the signals from the multiple neurons. That's why they are called as multipolar. So many processes arising from the cell bodies. So the cell body, central cell body, and from here the many processes, many dendrites has been developed. So through which they are taking the signals from the another neuron. Brain and spinal cord will find this. Bipolar. Bipolar are nothing but the two processes, one from each end of the cell body. So this is a cell body, and from each end we are having the processes. So from here and from here. Especially you will find this in case of eyes, nose, ears. So it is called bipolar. So as we know, we are having two eyes. So from two eyes simultaneously we are getting the signals at the centrally here. In ear also, from the nose also. So it is the example of bipolar neuron. Now next is unipolar. So in unipolar, single process extends from cell body. From the cell body, the signals can be divided into this trigger zone and to the axons. So at the same time, means at the single straight way is developed from this cell body. So it is the example of unipolar. Outside the brain and spinal cord you will find such type of neurons. Now as we are discuss how they looks, here you can see these are the neurons. This is the multiple interneurons, they are connecting internally with one with the another. This is the motor neurons which transfer the impulses from brain toward the body parts, towards the muscle or any part. Sensory neuron which carry the impulses from the periphery, from the body parts toward the brain. Now classification of neurons by functions, if you will see in that first, sensory neuron. So they have specialized receptors in that sense stimuli and carries impulses from peripheral body parts to the brain or spinal cord. So whatever the sensory organ is there, it may be eye, it may be nose, it may be skin, any part. So from that part it carries the impulses towards the brain. It is the afferent type of, it is toward the brain, afferent type of mechanism, afferent direction, the impulses movement, impulses conduction occurs. That is nothing but the sensory neuron. And second, and it can be unipolar or bipolar. Whereas the interneurons, they lie entirely within the brain or spinal cord. They are connecting with each other. They direct incoming sensory impulses to the appropriate parts of processing and interpreting. Motor neurons, afferent, carry impulses out of the brain or spinal cord to the effector. So here the brain is giving order to the respective organ to do its function, means from brain toward the organ, the brain toward the sensory organ, to the somatic organ, any part. It may be toward the hand, toward the nose, toward the skin. So it is a efferent way of conduction. It carries impulses from brain toward the muscle, toward the gland, toward the organ. Interneuron and motor neurons are multipolars. So they are having multi-dendrites, multipolar. They receive the impulses from the multiple neurons. Motor neurons, alpha motor neurons, they are the larger fibers. They conduct the impulses faster. They innervates regular muscle fibers. Gamma motor neurons, they are smaller fibers. They conduct impulses more slowly, innervate proprioceptors such as muscle spindles. Nerve properties related to the functions, irritability, able to respond to the stimuli, means they are responsible for the excitation, excitability. They are responsible for the impulse generation and impulse propagation, conduction. So they are able to show the response or stimuli or motor response. Conductivity, able to transmit electrical potential along with the axons. So they are conducting the impulses from one neuron to the another neuron. In this session we have discussed our today's part. Thank you very much. Bye.